greetings and blessings, greetings and more blessings. I am coming to you live from the house of Sankofa Infinity. Today is January the 27th, I believe. Yes, 27th, 2018. Of course, we already know that. Now, and this is the last week of my birthday month. I celebrated my birthday. Well, my birthday is in January, but I try to celebrate for the whole month. So, as in the beginning of my birthday month, has to also be the ending of my birthday month. You see what I'm saying? But there is a change. There's a change, and there is an upgrade. Now, I'm not going to get into that right now, but this is what I did want to come on and speak about. We here at the House of Sankofa Infinity, we are always talking about going within, going within, going within, because we soulfully believe that that is the ultimate relationship that one individual can have with themselves, or to have. That is the ultimate relationship that an individual can have. Out of all the relationships, that is the extension of that. Okay? Anything external, all external relationships are nothing more than its extensions of the relationship in which you have within yourself. So what I have come to understand as a spiritual teacher, spiritual speaker and writer, and soul existing being, is that as you expand and elevate your consciousness based on the relationship in which you have with yourself, there are reflections that will fall away because they no longer serve you, or their time to serve you is up. The time is up. So what happens is they fall back. What do I mean when I say they fall back? They fall back into the background of who you are. Now, anything that falls back into the background of who you are, that means that you are moving forward. You are evolving. You are moving away from. You have turned away from that. It's time out for turning back. You can't turn back to the old reflections that used to serve you at one time. Why do I bring this up? Because I realize that when we expand and when we are elevated, when we become more and more elevated and redefined in our consciousness, the reflections of who we thought we were, or we were at one time, they no longer fit. They no longer fit, and actually they become annoying, somewhat annoying, irritating, if you will. But because of your relationship in which you have with yourself, or you should be striving towards, is that we have to understand that the spirit, the soul of who I am, cannot be irritated, agitated, or frustrated, or disappointed. So we have to always go back into that. And because it cannot, then things that appear to do that is contrary to the nature of the soul itself, they fall back. You keep it moving. What I have come to understand is that sometimes when we are moving and we all of a sudden we have these group of people around us, and now we come to a place where we have to move and move forward because we're moving in our thought patterns You're moving the thought in your mind. The thought in your mind is now moving forward. It is now elevating. It is now moving out of what was and what what was and what can never be again. Because of that, we fall into the earthly mentality or the carnality of our own minds, and we start clinging to these reflections. We cling to these reflections because we don't want to separate. We don't want to separate from those things. Because in some kind of way in our belief system, we think that they should come along for the ride. No. Some reflections don't come along for the ride. Matter of fact, reflections are created to become dissolved. Okay? Reflections are created so that you may dissolve them and they no longer exist in your experience as a soul existing being. You got to get to a place where the only reflection that you see is the reflection in which you have with, and now I'm rambling. You have to get to a place that you can only now see yourself as the divine sees you, and the divine sees you, and you see the divine. You become one. You see yourself with singleness, with one mind, and you move away. And you don't even have to move away. You just have to make that thought in your mind. You have to set the thought in your mind to do so. And as you set that thought in your mind, then all else that is contrary to the divine being of who you are simply moves away. It is resolved. It is repulsed. You know, the law of attraction, of course, we attract people in our lives who embrace us, and we attract things, energies into our lives that are repulsed and repelled. Huh? See, law of attraction go two ways. Either I will repel or I will draw in and cause an embracement. And those things that you tend to embrace, you have to be mindful of that, because the things that you tend to embrace, you become those things, or those things are somewhat of an aspect of who you are. But what happens when you grow out of those things? Huh? It's almost like removing a scab from a sore, you know, from a wound that you've had, and that has been healing itself. Now it has healed so well that it has a scab on it. But for whatever reason, we become addicted to the scab itself. We don't want to remove the scab and just cast it to the side, so that the skin, it can now cover the place in which it resides within your body. I'm gonna have to do this speech again.